Hello YouTube, Jordan here with a new battle against 6 Foot Hacks. It was an RU battle and some amazing things happened, but let's just get this on the road. So basically, I'm going to lead off with my Ariados, my main star of the team, and he's just going to lead off with his Moltres. And the first thing that came into my mind was I had to get the heck out of there because a Fire Blast or Air Slash could be coming. I'm just going to go into my Lantern so I can just take that easily, and he will go for the Flamethrower, and my Lantern will take that fairly nicely because it is a tank after all. So pretty much, it was at this point that he was going to make a substitute, and I had no idea what the heck he was going to do. So I'm just going to go for the discharge so I can try to paralyze this thing, but he ends up being faster than my Lantern, which is okay, I guess. I'm still waiting for the Hidden Power Grass, but I don't think it's going to be happening because I didn't think that his Moltres carried it. And by the looks of it, it doesn't. So he's just going to switch out into his Manectric, and I'm just going to surf the Manectric because I didn't really expect the switch, but that's okay. And the surf's going to do it like over half, so that's going to be a good thing. So he's just going to go for his own Hidden Power Grass, and Lantern is just going to take that really nicely, like really nicely. So I'm just going to finish the Manectric off with a surf because, stab, stuff like that. But, I didn't really expect Manectric to live that surf in the first place, but that's okay. But moving along, he's just going to send out his Crocodile, and I'm just going to go into my Mesprit, and he's just going to set up his own substitute. And now, I didn't know what the heck he was going to do because I've never seen a substitute or a leftovers on a Crocodile. So I'm just going to U-turn out of there and just get out of there because I'm pretty sure a Crunch or a Pursuit was coming back at me. So I'm just, So I'm just going to send in my Dodrio, and so he's just going to go for a Crunch, and Dodrio does not really take that Crunch too well, but it'll do enough so that Dodrio can live. He's just going to switch out, and he's just going to go into his Feral Seed, and I'm just going to go for a Thrash, and it was a great switch on his part because I'm pretty much locked into Thrash and Life Orb, and he's got that ability, which is definitely going to take me out. It's like Dodrio didn't even do anything. And so with that being said, he's going to set up his own spikes, and I didn't know what I can do. So I'm going to go back into my Mesprit. I'm just going to trick it, and I'm just going to give it a I was going to give it a Choice Scarf because he's basically going to be locked into Thunder Wave now, and I don't know why he tried going for the Thunder Wave when I have a Heal Bell type of person on my team. But anyway, he's just going to go back into his Moltres, and I'm just going to set up my rocks. I thought it was a time to set up my rocks, and that'll be a good thing because Moltres, Moltres and Stealth Rocks equals not a good combo. But moving along, I'm going to go back into my Lantern, and I'm going to protect the Flamethrower, but he's just going to go for a substitute instead. And I still was wondering what kind of Moltres this was. Is this like a defensive type of Moltres or what? It was at that time, he copied Articuno's set, but it was just a Moltres form. So he's just going to go for a Toxic, and I'm just going to go for the Surf. I was totally fine with the Toxic because I do have Heal Bell on my Lantern, and that will come in handy later on. But moving along, I'm just going to try to take out, I just tried to take out that substitute with the Surf, blah, blah, blah. Moving along, so basically I'm just going to get hurt by Poison. That's totally fine. He's just going to withdraw. He's going to go back into his Pharisee, or I think that's what it's called. I'm just going to go for Heal Bell, predicting a switch. And I was cured of Poison, Mesprit was cured of Paralysis, now we're back to normal. So pretty much I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam, because I didn't know what else I can do to this this little guy. And he's just going to set up a Leech Seed. I'm surprised that I was faster, because this thing, it does have a Choice Scarf on it, because I did trick it. But it's whatever. But anyway, it was at this time I couldn't do anything, so I'm just going to switch out and going to my Omastar. And if I had Hidden Power Fire, I would have easily took it out this thing, but I kind of missaved and I gave it Dark Pulse instead. I guess he predicted my switch, and he's just gonna stay in and go for another Leech Seed, which is a good play on his part. Then he's gonna switch out and he's gonna go into his Slowking, and I'm just gonna go for the Shell Smash, and I really can't even touch this Slowking as far as I know. I have Surf, Shell Smash, Ice Beam, and Dark Pulse, and that was just a missave, like I said earlier. If I had Hidden Power Fire, I definitely couldn't have touched this thing at all. But it's whatever. It's a Pokemon game. There's nothing really I can care about. So I'm just going to switch out, and I'm going to go into my Swagsire. And he's going to go for a Thunder Wave, and I kind of predicted that. And that's why I went into my Ground-type Pokemon, which is good. In the meantime, he's just going to switch out, and he's just going to go back into this little guy, and I'm going to go for a Toxic, and I guess he predicted that, which is a good play on his part. But as far as I know, I'm just going to go for the Earthquake and see what I can do to this thing, because it doesn't have Evilite anymore. He's just going to go for the Leech Seed yet again, because he is Scarfed after all. How could I be so naive? But moving along, it was at this time that I felt like I needed to switch this thing, but he's actually going to switch out on his own, and he's going to go into Moltres, which was a decent play on his part, but then again not, because I'm just going to go for the Earthquake. I guess he predicted that. But if I went for the Scald, I didn't really want to risk burning that little dude, I guess, but it's whatever. It was at this time that I figured, you know what, I think I can live. I think I can handle a Toxic. I think I can live an Air Slash from this thing. So I'm just going to go for the Scald and then try to take out this Moltres, because it was becoming a pain in my butt. And it lives my Scald. And I had no idea how the heck it even bothered to live. I swear, Quagsire, come on, man, step up your game. I wanted you to kill this Moltres, but no. No, that's not the case in this battle. It's whatever. Now he's just going to go for his own substitute, which he said he misclicked, but that's okay too. I'm just going to go for the Scald to try to finish this off. And finally, this Moltres is just out of my sight. I'm so glad it's out of my sight. But it was at this time now that I didn't know what else I could do. And, you know, he had, I guess, a little, I don't even know his name anymore. I'm just going to switch out, and I'm just going to go into my Lantern, because I figured, you know what, its special defense is pretty crappy. Let me try to give this a shot. He predicted that, and he's going to go for the Seed Bomb, and my Lantern does not take that too nicely. So there was nothing else I can do. I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam. I should have went for Heal Bell so I can, like, you know, try to help out Quagsire, but I didn't really feel like it. He's going to take me out with the Seed Bomb, and I don't know how he lived my Ice Beam, but that was a good play on his part. But I'm just going to go back into my Mesprit, and I'm going to U-turn out of there so I can finally get rid of this thing, because it was horribly annoying. I don't care that I got hurt by Iron Barbs. It's totally fine, as long as I just killed this thing. I'm just going to go back into my Quagsire, and he's just going to go in, or you know what? I don't even know what he's going to go into. I'm rushing myself as usual. But, yeah, he's just going to go into his Slowking, and I didn't know what I can do except for Toxic this thing, because I figured it can handle an Earthquake well. But he's going to go for the Ice Beam, and I'm especially defensive, so I took that fairly nicely. So I will Toxic, or I will Poison it in the meantime, because I do not want to deal with the Slowking, because I did not want to deal with this stalling Moltres and that Pharisee dude and all that other crap. But moving along, so I'm kind of going to die next turn by an Ice Beam. It's totally fine, because Quagsire did all it needed to do. Thank you, Quagsire. But, so now I'm going to have to go into something that I really did not really want to go into. I'm just going to go into my Ariados, which has a Dream World ability and Choice Scarf. Its Dream World ability is Sniper. But I kind of predicted to him to switch out, and so I'm going to go for the Bug Bite. And I'm just like, Ariados just killed a Crocodile? What the heck is going on? Now he's just going to go into his Primeape, and I'm like, I got to get out of there. I'm not going to handle a Stone Edge well. So I'm just going to go into my Omastar, because I did not want to, like, you know, do anything with this Omastar, because there's nothing I could do. So I kind of took this Stone Edge well, and then again, he's going to go for another Stone Edge, and then I did not take that well, and I'm just going to die, and I got to thank him for that. In the meantime, I'm going to go into my Mesprit so I can go for that Zen Headbutt, but I end up going for the U-turn so I can get out of there and go back into Ariados. So I do go for the U-turn, and it will do a decent amount of damage to this Slowking. And it was at this time I'm just like, you know what? Let's go for it again, Ariados. Let's just fodder you off, because you're not really going to be useful anymore. So I actually learned that Ariados is actually a monster. It is like one of the best. I can see why Koga took it. He's going to switch out and go back to his Primeape, and I kind of predicted him to do that. So I'm just going to go for the Poison Jab. And look at this. Primeape dies. What? Like, what? And then next thing you know, he's going to go into his Slowking, which is his last Pokemon. And I'm going to go for the Poison Jab again, and I'm surprised that I'm faster. Now, I figured that the Slowking would have a Psychic, but it actually has Scald. And lucky for me, I did not get the burn, because this Ariados would have been ruined. But it's totally fine, because Ariados just took out 3 Pokemon. And I'm just sitting there thinking, what? But it's whatever. Good game, Leo, man. Question of the day for you guys. Are you an Xbox or PS3 fan? I love PS3, but I do have an Xbox anyway. But I am gone. See you guys later.